What is the one job at your house that nobody else likes to do? That one thing that, piles up or takes way too long to do, so that then when you actually do it, it is like a huge chore. Well, today is Maundy Thursday in the life of the church. It's Holy Thursday. And as we continue on with this roller coaster ride of the disciples and Jesus leading up to the crucifixion and beyond to the empty tomb, we are finally at the time where the disciples and Jesus are sharing the Passover together. This high holy time where Jesus and the disciples are eating in the upper room. We have paintings about it and everything else, though it would have been not a high table like we think of, but rather something kind of low on the floor almost. And so anyway, the disciples come together and they have this wonderful meal, and something strange happens because they decide that nobody's going to do this foot washing thing because it's just uncomfortable. And if I wash somebody else's feet, it means that I have the lowest position. And so everybody, human nature, around the room just wanted to not be the low guy on the totem pole. And so they didn't wash anybody's feet. And so Jesus starts doing that. And talk about a little bit of that kind of confused piece, or maybe they feel bad. We're talking about our zones of regulation today. We've used this chart kind of every day, probably after that time where Jesus washed their feet and told them that if you want to be great in the kingdom of God, you have to become like a servant, just like I am. Probably kind of ticked them down in this blue zone of feeling, oh man, we really messed up. We've been with Jesus for 3 years and we still haven't gotten it. Actually, a week before, like right before Palm Sunday, they had messed this up again in a little bit different way. And so maybe they're in that blue zone of feeling like, oh man, also he's talking all about how he's not going to be with them for much longer. So that sadness starts to kind of creep in to what they're doing. And as they have this conversation, what they come to realize is that Jesus is calling them to serve one another. But not because they need to earn anything, but rather Jesus comes and meets them where they are and serves them first. The thing that Jesus reminds them on Maundy Thursday is first and foremost, before anything else, is that you have a place with me. You belong here. Whew. That's a good feeling, especially when we know what's coming up in the next few days. So Jesus is saying, you have a place with me, I'm preparing a place for you, and we are in this together. Pretty cool, right? Even in the midst of them, even on the heels of them messing up, there is still hope and connection that really kind of is poignant in this day of Maundy Thursday. And then the scene kind of closes on Maundy Thursday, oftentimes with them going into the garden where Jesus asks them to pray with him, and they fall asleep, and then he wakes them up, and eventually he is handed over to the religious authorities because Judas has betrayed him. And so all of a sudden we go from this foot washing, you have a place with me, to now feeling very isolated because they have just taken away, their rabbi has just been kind of carted away. And what are we doing? Maybe isolated, lost. And even though Jesus says you have a place with me, and they are very zealous, especially Peter, about saying we will never leave you, they're already starting to scatter because they want to preserve themselves. They don't know what's going on. They're definitely in that red zone towards the end of the evening, feeling scared and not knowing what the next step is. But we'll talk all about that tomorrow. Like always, send your questions or let me know in the hallways of RLC, pastor@rehobothumc.org, or come visit us on Sunday mornings. See you guys tomorrow as we conclude our Holy Week conversations about what the disciples would have gone through and felt during the last week of Jesus' life. See you guys.